right, everybody, welcome back to Warehouse B. This is episode 45 already. That's crazy, man. It's Army of One. For some, it's Joshua Tree. They had two different names. If you type it into Google, it basically goes to Joshua Tree. But as you can see on this movie case out here in front that Andrew has, it's Army of One. So
Joshua Tree sounds like some kind of artsy-fartsy IFC film or something. Yeah,
they done goofed on. And what they did the same thing with, was it I Come in Peace, didn't they?
Yeah, Dark Angel.
Dark Angel. Come on, guys. What are you doing?
Dolph deserves better than this.
Come on, man. Well, as you guessed, it's a Dolph Lundgren movie if you have not seen it, which I do highly recommend you do. We're not going to have a budget or a box office for it because it was a straight to DVD or Blu-ray, or like VHS, I should say. Back in the 90s, there was not DVD yet. Do we want to go over the plot of this real quick?
Yeah.
Kinda?
You've got Dolph Lundgren and his buddy Eddie, and they're driving these hot cars in this tractor trailer across country, and they get stopped by this motorcycle cop. Eddie gets killed, Dolph gets shot, the cop gets killed. You don't really see what happens.
Right.
Because there's kind of a flash there, but
Kind of weird deal.
Dolph gets sentenced to prison, and of course he escapes, goes off into the desert. He takes this girl hostage, who actually turns out to be a deputy sheriff, played by Kristen Alfonso, who you might know as Hope Brady.
Yeah, from Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives. Baby. But they're on the run from the law pretty much. She kind of gets Stockholm Syndrome, falls for him.
Yeah, she kind of does. Yeah. But she starts to uncover pieces, I think, a little bit too, and realizes, okay, well, there's more to this guy.
Kind of uncovers this plot where these detectives, one of which he was friends with, George Siegel and Bo Starr, who you know, Sheriff Meeker.
Sheriff Meeker from Halloween 4, our favorite sheriff. Yeah.
Turned out to be, they end up being dirty cops in this thing, and they're behind all of it. And he's trying to prove his innocence. And it has a lot of similarities to me, even with the ending, which you didn't see because I think you saw the Joshua Tree version.
Right.
But it has a lot of similarities with Nowhere to Run, which came out the same year with Van Damme.
Right.
Where, you know, this guy and he's out in this desert and he gets arrested at the end of the movie. Yeah. But I thought that was pretty cool. That might be an interesting versus.
Yeah, maybe so. Because I also have not seen that, I don't think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my. It's not the best Van Damme movie, but it's one of my favorites because it's a little more serious in tone.
Okay. Okay. Cool. There's quite a few names in this too. Ken Foray is Eddie, is his buddy Eddie who gets killed at the beginning. Jeffrey Lewis was in there.
Yeah, from the Eastwood movies.
This movie was also filmed in Southern California. For people who want to know that kind of information, a lot of desert and stuff in Southern California.
I think some of it was in Joshua Tree State Park. In and around that area. Yeah.
Let's go through some of these changes real quick because I think it was heavily censored from what I understand. In like the UK, there's a lot of blood and squibs and stuff like that.
I love the squibs in this movie.
Yeah. They almost that chop shop, man. It was wild because when you shoot them and they'd splatter. It kind of looked like paint,
a little bit,
just paint splatter. It was kind of interesting. It was a little bit silly, really, but at the same time, it was fun. There's the two different endings. I'm trying to figure out
the most notable ending because I kind of skimmed through and watched the ending of the Joshua Tree today. In the Joshua Tree, he doesn't go to jail at the end, and him and Christian Alfonso end up having a kiss as she's in uniform. In Army of One, he gets taken straight away, like right after the fight with Bo Starr and Siegel.
Okay.
Yeah.
They felt that the final showdown in Vic Armstrong's directorial debut didn't live up to the stunts that had preceded it, and asked for a reshoot. That's pretty. And it's according to the December 1993 issue of Impact. That's where this came from.
And Vic Armstrong, of course, he was a big time stunt coordinator. But you've seen him in a lot of things, I know, because he was Indiana Jones in the original trilogy, like in all the stunt scenes.
Oh, really?
Where it goes underneath the truck and everything.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, so the original ending had Santee shoot Rudy with the Uzi from the top of the ridge many times. Severance grabs Rita and tells him to give it up. Santee appears and says, "I'm here, Severance, let her go," before stumbling down the ridge. But Severance overpowers him and kicks him off the edge of a cliff by stomping on his bloodied hands. I don't believe that, but as Severance is about to kill Rita, he and Santee fight over a revolver. Rudy is still alive and they both shoot him before Santee pulverizes Severance with his fists. Just as he's about to crush his head with a boulder, Santee says, "This is for Eddie." which is followed by a brief black and white flashback. Severance says, "Go ahead, kid, do it. I'd do it to you," before Santee is interrupted by the police. Severance is then arrested by Sheriff Cepeda, which is Jeffrey Lewis, who claims that he has seen CCTV footage of him murdering Deputy Agnes.
Which would have been at that chop shop.
At the chop shop, yeah. What he did, he shot him right in the head. There's an announcement in which Santee is back at his father's ranch with Rita, now wearing her police uniform. This is the ending I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's not this version here.
Yeah, okay. He mentions the fate of Eddie's wife and son before kissing Rita goodbye. The second ending, released theatrically in France and available on the unrated Artisan Entertainment DVD, which I guess is that.
Yep.
And the French Region 2 DVD has the extra fight scene between Santee, Severance, and Rudy. Santee only shoots Rudy from the ridge once, and Rudy is knocked out as he hits his head on a rock. His fight with Severance is exactly the same, but as he kicks Santee off the cliff, his hand does not have as much blood on it as it did before. Immediately after landing on the ledge, Santee starts climbing back up the cliff. Severance teases Rita about killing her, but is interrupted by Santee, who is then interrupted by Rudy holding an AK-47 to his head. Santee gives up and is beaten down by Rudy and Severance. Just as they are about to kill him, Rita intervenes and claims if they do, they will never get the money he took from Jimmy Shoeshine. So, that's a lot different.
Yeah.
Even though the suitcase is hidden under the low railroad bridge elsewhere, Santee pretends that it's hidden nearby. This gives him a chance to get the upper hand over Severance and Rudy and bushwhacks them. All three of them fight, but Severance is the first to run off, as it is clear that he is losing. Rita then beats him with his stick.
She does too. She beats the hell out of him.
Santee and Rudy are still fighting, but he gets Rudy in a headlock. Rudy's last words before Santee breaks his neck are, Eddie was just an N-word.
Yeah.
Okay. With Rudy dead, Santee rushes back to Severance to stop him from hurting Rita. He pulverizes and is about to finish him off with a boulder, but there's no flashback and no mention of Eddie. The cops arrive and Severance is cuffed by Cepeda. Okay, well, there's a lot more to that. I don't even know which one I prefer more. I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean,
I've seen this one many times, so I kind of prefer it just because familiarity.
Yeah, well, you don't see anything out of Bo Starr again.
Yeah.
After he just shot and he's gone. Interesting. I need to see the ending to that. That sounds like it's a little bit more to it, for sure. So let's go over, and I know that was long-winded, sorry, but let's go over the pros and cons real quick.
Yeah.
Let's go, you want to do cons first or pros?
Let's go ahead and do the cons, get them out of the way.
Okay, go ahead and start them.
It'd be basically that. The cinematography, it's very pretty where they're at, but it does kind of feel, like you said, like a TV movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I agree, and you know, it comes down to the editing as well. With that, the editing and the overall feel of it could have been a little bit better, even for whatever the budget was. I felt they could have done a lot better. And I get to a point why they were trying to keep it somewhat choppy, because they were trying to unveil the story as it went on.
A piece at a time.
A piece at a time. Because at the beginning, you see, what's it, Rudy and Severance?
Yeah, they're at the...
Yeah. You don't see them, but you see their car pull up in front. You don't know it's their car yet. But you see a car pull up right around the time the bike cop pulls him over. And he's got Eddie out there talking. Well, he sees Eddie's gun. You know, he says, my protection, man. He gets him up against the truck and he's freaked out. Well, Rudy and Severance are, you know, they're crooked cops. They're supposed to be the ones that get him out of things. Like, they're supposed to be their tail. That way they get clearance. And this time it didn't work out. But things just kind of go south with the gun and the other cop or whatever.
Right.
So he goes, so they all it shows at the beginning is this car pulling up. Two guys get out with guns, and they're walking along the side of the trailer. Or next thing you know, Dolph sees Eddie go down he hears the gunshot, sees him go down in the rearview mirror. And then he runs back there. He sees the cop, and then two guns go up in the frame, but you don't know what's hands or whose.
Right.
And then they both get shot. And that's it. So
next thing you know, Dolph's in jail.
Right. Understandable that they needed to chop that stuff out. It just seemed kind of messy. And even the editing seemed kind of a little messy. I thought they probably could have done. I don't know what they could have done, but I feel like they could have done something a little bit better. Yeah, it
could have been done just a little better.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't have as much of a problem with that as I do some of the action sequences that have been edited. I don't like when at the beginning when he kidnaps her and they drive off that little cliff in that Toyota pickup or whatever pickup that was. They show him going off that cliff, and the cop cars barrel through the fence. And next thing you know, they barrel through the fence, and they don't show them driving off the cliff. It just shows them rolling.
Yeah.
So there's a cut between them going through the fence and them just rolling off the cliff. It's like, why wouldn't you just show that?
Yeah.
Just show the car just going off the cliff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't like that kind of choppy editing. I think that was a little bit much. And then of course, I don't, and because I haven't seen this one yet, I'm assuming most of it's there, but poor YouTube, man. They've got 3 or 4 versions on there, and they're just butchered to hell. So you don't know what's bad editing from the movie, or if it's somebody uploading it on YouTube.
Yeah. From what I've seen, like the hour and 42-minute one is the most complete version up there.
Yeah.
But is that what you watched?
Yeah.
But even that's choppy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So the movie's just choppy.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. There are some story points in here that I thought were kind of The part with Siegel's wife, when Dolph goes in to talk to her to get the information about, I think he gets like Jimmy Shoeshine's number or something from her. I thought that whole part was clunky, how he's having this affair with this much older woman.
Yeah.
And I thought she overacted a little bit.
Oh, God. Well, she almost, without any kind of background other than just being Severance's wife, that you find out, she almost kind of seemed like she was just as bad, if not worse, than Severance.
Yeah.
Like, almost like she, in her mind, was the brains of the operation. Yeah. Like she was running the show or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that character at all.
No, it wasn't a good character. You definitely was rooting for her to die, which she never did. I don't guess, right? No,
she got smacked around a
little bit by, she got pushed around a lot. Then, of course, she tried to throw her charms on Dolph again because they'd been having an affair, and he's like, nah.
Got some hottie hot handcuffed to a fence outside. Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life. I've got a soap opera actor now.
Yeah. I
think really just the choppy editing and a few people's performance, mainly hers, that I find cons in this. It makes it feel like a TV movie more than it should.
Yeah.
And I know it's direct to VHS, so I mean, what can you expect? But it could have been a lot bigger. With the story and the people in it, it could have been a lot bigger than it was.
And the action.
Before
we get into action, what did you think of the score? Because I kind of liked the Western thing they had going on.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I did too.
I believe that was Joe Goldsmith, which is Jerry Goldsmith's son, that did the score for this. So yeah, kudos to him. He did a good job. But
yeah, I overall like the score.
Yeah.
There's just something about it when you compare these to certain other movies of its time. You know, I've mentioned this before. You put something like Hard to Kill. It's kind of the benchmark, or one of them. I think when you create a suspense action drama, I think that's something that's kind of peak.
Yeah.
But this was a little bit on the lower side of that. This had so much potential, man.
Yeah. Speaking of the potential, let's just talk about the action.
Okay.
Yeah. What are your favorite action scenes?
That chop shop scene was insane.
Yeah.
Just insane. I mean, just gunfire. It was kind of funny and awesome at the same time because you had all the paint splatter squibs or whatever. I remember saying, "Oh my God, where are these guys coming from?"
Yeah, they're popping up out of nowhere.
There's dudes. It seems like in the same crevices of behind these cars, like there's just dudes popping up. There's like 30 guys.
Yeah. That
just pop up at random intervals just to get shot.
I watched this scene this morning and actually timed it because it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
From the time of the first gunshot to the last gunshot, it's almost 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Just straight action.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Love it. You know, at one point he goes down this conveyor shooting at guys. At another point he jumps like back first onto this creeper and he's just, firing, taking all these guys out. Loved it.
Yeah.
He picks up an industrial paint sprayer and shoots a guy with fire, catches him on fire, and roundhouse kicks him.
Yeah.
Thought it was great.
Yeah, and it's like the only white guy in the entire group, too.
Yeah.
Like all of them were Asian, and it's just like the one white guy. I'm like, oh, something's going to happen to him.
He's a stunt man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He got pushed forward or whatever, and he just stepped up. I'm like, oh, well, something weird's going to happen to him. And yeah, sure enough, he gets lit on fire around him. Ah!
And the heavy in that scene, the Japanese guy, I want to say he's probably the same Japanese guy that was the sumo in Showdown Little Tokyo, because I just watched that last weekend.
He may have been.
The guy that Dolph fights in the sauna or whatever.
And I'm not going to do it now because I already spent enough time on this earlier looking up stupid shit, but I'm not so sure that he's not the little odd job parody character in Austin Powers.
Maybe.
That he puts the penis enlarger pump on at the end. And he throws his hat. Like, or a shoe. He throws a shoe.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's not him.
Who throws his shoe?
Yeah, he throws his shoe, honestly. Yeah. I'm not so sure that's not him.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to confirm that off camera. Everybody plays their part for the most part pretty well. The acting, but it's passable.
Yeah, you got boobies in this one.
You got some boobies in this one. That's always good too. That's always a positive.
Woohoo!
Action's good. Car chase scenes awesome.
Yeah.
The cars, since they're
got some Lambos going around.
Some cool
corners.
exotic cars in there. Yeah. Really cool. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits. It's a product of its time, but it's a really, really cool movie, I think. And we put it up towards the higher tier.
Yeah.
For Dolph, despite its flaws, despite its editing and how it feels more like a VHS movie, like a straight to video movie, it's pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong in that category. It's just you're missing a few components to bump it up to that next level.
Right. Yeah. I think acting wise, it's also one of his better ones too. Like that scene where Eddie's son and his wife come in and the son's boosted a car for him, and he's like, he's trying to talk sense into him. He's like, "What day is it?" And the kid's like, "It's Friday." He's like, "Well, I'll be dead by Sunday. Do you really want to be like me?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought Dolph had a little bit more to bite into with this one.
Yeah. What would you score this one?
I think on that email I sent you, 3.5 out of 5, and that's what I'd score this one.
That's pretty fair.
On a warehouse B scale.
That's pretty fair. Yeah, I think so. It's memorable. It's fun. It's worth watching. I'll watch it again. I would add that to a list of action movies from that time to watch. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I really like it. So I think 3.5 to 3 3/4 on that scale is pretty good.
Yeah. And now it sounds like we got another Versus to put on the list and another Van Damme for Brandon to watch.
Yeah, because I haven't watched enough. No, I really haven't. There's a lot of them, believe it or not, I haven't seen. So that'll be good. What else we got coming down the pike on Warehouse B?
So up next, we got a treat for everybody who likes just the bad, so bad it's good stuff. We're going to do Ninja 3, The Domination. So, which is a canon film. It's kind of that ninja exploitation thing from the 80s.
Yeah.
So you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's ninja film meets The Exorcist almost.
Oh.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Exactly. All right, everybody. That'll do it for us today. Be on the lookout for that. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any content like Ninja 3. And leave us a like. Make sure you drop a comment below. Let us know what you think of Army of One or Joshua Tree if you have seen it.
And if not, do it.
Do it for sure. You can watch the 1 hour and 42-minute cut on YouTube. From the sound of it, it's the Joshua Tree version. Otherwise, you can find Army of One somewhere. You can probably even rent it on.
Yeah, I found this for $1 in a pawn shop, so it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't. Until next time,
we're out of here.